It is time for our language lesson. This week in language, we will be working on the ideas of double consonants. So words that have double letters that are not vowels. And we're going to be looking at 1 or 2 syllable words, sorting for that, looking and watching out for those in our reading, writing, and just our word studies. We're also going to be practicing other sound and letter patterns, as well as the lesson we're going to be focusing on that good readers do. Good readers and writers make predictions. So as you read your Good Fit books this week and passages that I'm going to be posting on Google Classroom, you're going to be practicing what good readers do, and that is making predictions. We'll talk about that more in depth for tomorrow. But for today, let's get started with the activities that help us with the ideas or the spelling patterns of double consonants, 1 or 2 syllable words, or other spelling and sound patterns. I'm going to share my screen with you today to walk you through what is expected or what the instructions are for our bell work today. So let's get started with Bellwork Page 22. On Bellwork Page 22, I'm just going to explain what to do for the language part. And then when you open your math video, I'm going to explain what you can do for the Bellwork Page 22's math activities. So it says at the top of the page to write DR or TR to finish each word. So they've given you the ending sound pattern, spelling pattern to make a sound pattern, and you need to decide what would make a true word. If you started each word with DR or TR, they're allowed to be different from each other. You need to decide what is a true word. Then you need to add S to the word to make it plural. Plural is a word that is a rule. It's the name of a rule that means more than one. So when you add an S to this word, it will change it from one to more. When you add an S to this word, it will change it from one single to more. The next activity is allowing you to be creative with your own sentence. You need to write a sentence following this instruction. So I'll let you read. I'll read it with you. Write about something you would like to have 10 of. What is something that you would like to have 10 of? And make sure when you print your sentence that you include these things. You include correct capitals for the beginning and names, but use correct punctuation at the end and throughout, perhaps, and that you used your best spelling. Are you allowed to spell things wrong? Yes, as long as you are writing the important words correctly and that you are using your best spelling and that your sentence makes sense. So it has to fit with this topic and it has to be a complete sentence making sense. All right, and the next activity is called sight words, where you need to reprint each of the words that are on the top of the box into these individual letter boxes. So the first letter from the word above goes in the first box. The last letter goes in the last box, and the middle letters go in the middle boxes to separate the letters. All right, the instructions for the final language activity for today is circle the words with the same vowel sound as bed. In this passage, you need to read the sentences. Then you need to circle all of the words that have the same vowel sound as bed. Let's stretch the word bed out. Bed. What vowel sound do you hear in the word bed? Eh. You position your mouth like this. Eh, and the sound comes from the back of your throat. Read the sentences and circle the words with the same vowel sound as bed. And then you need to draw the picture draw a picture that matches the passage. That's the activities from our Bellwork Page 22. And like I said at the beginning of this video, the focus of this week is words that have double consonants. Can you find the double letters in each of the words for this week? Week 13. And when it says distinguish, that means tell the difference between 1 and 2 syllable words. Syllable is that silly word that means how many parts, how many sound parts do we have in each of the words? In music, similar idea is how many beats are there in a word. We can clap syllables to help us with this. Let's read through the list this week and clap with me the syllables for each word. Less, tell, well, will, still, off, letter, little, silly, happy, puppy, cuddle. How many syllables there are in each word means how many claps you clapped to say each word. You can go back and count how many claps we did for each word. But I'm going to go on. Oh, I see that there's a mistake at the top of this page. It still has the title for Christmas spelling list. This is not the Christmas spelling list. Just ignore that title. You can even draw a line through that. It is not the Christmas spelling list. Silly. It is the spelling list number 13. Okay, now that we've got that fixed, we can move on. The rest of the activity is similar to what we have done in class. You need to read each word, copy that same word, fold this on the fold line, and spell it again without looking. Make sure you do each step, read, copy, cover, and spell before going to the next word. This will help you to be able to see where you are in the list for when you are doing the cover and spell. It also helps you to build a stronger pathway in your mind for how to spell each word. All right, now there are a few other activities on, one other activity on this same page for today. You need to write a silly story with the words of the week. So go back to the top, write a silly story with the words from this week's list. Now, you will also note that in your checklist for this week, the same activity can be finished off at the end of the week. So if you cannot finish, if you don't have enough time in language time today to work on all of that activity, you can continue it on for next day. I just want to explain one more activity before I end this video. And it is called the making predictions. What will happen? So today you're going to be reading the first passage at the top. And then you're going to write what you think will happen next on the lines below. So you're going to read this short passage. And I recommend that you read it first to figure out the words and then read it again so that you can understand what you're reading by reading it again. And then you're going to write a sentence about what you think will happen next. That's called a prediction, and that's what good readers do. All right, you're just going to be doing the first passage today. Passage 2 is for another day. And that is our language start for this week. Before you think that that is too much for you to do, remember each activity can be done, and then you can get up and stretch, and then go on to the next activity. Make sure you're getting up and moving between each activity so it doesn't feel like too much. All right, and I hope that you also know to pop into my office if you have any questions. Please pay attention to see when your individual meeting is with me this week. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.